they ran the ball very effectively. And I get it. It's the Bengals and their defense is not good. What do you do? What do you think they can take from the success they had in the run game with Monangai and the Bears offensive line?
Remember, we talked about this, right? What was repeatable? We talked about a lot after they came out of the bye week and we watched them go out there and beat the Commanders. Well, we talked about stopping the run and running the football was repeatable for the Bears when you looked at the film really closely. And this offensive line is getting used to working together. Coach Dan Rochar has done a nice job getting them on the same page. And guys, I'm not only talking about when they blow guys off the ball, which guys, we've seen a lot on Twitter this week, but I'm talking about when they run stunts and you have to switch men on the run. By that, I mean your assignment stunts to me. The linebacker runs over the top. I seen one play, I think it was at a 16-yard run in the second quarter by Monangai, and Darnell Wright takes over Jonah Jackson's guy. Jonah Jackson knows immediately who to turn and run for the linebacker, gets a piece of him, and it's a big game, man. Just the combo blocks and the way they're working together with the offensive line and the tight ends, right, and the wide receivers. They're all involved in this run game. Like you mentioned, Lawrence, not a very good defense they went up against, but you still got to execute. I've been on offenses before where the worst defense in the league came in and we got to play them and we didn't do anything. So this offense taking steps, Darnell Wright, a lot of accolades this week, obviously well-deserved, man. Jonah Jackson really has stepped his game up. Dahlman, Tooney, Theo Bennett, all working well together. Cole Kmet obviously gets hurt during that game. I think he's important to that run game. But other tight ends come in, step up. Monangai ran hard like you knew he would, watching his film from Rutgers. And the Bears are just dangerous enough on the edges where you cannot load the box on them and you cannot just say, okay, I'm just going to stop the run, because then Caleb will pick you apart.
Olin, Darnell Wright has been inconsistent the last couple years. Some moments where you're like, oh my God, look at that dude, right? But I mean, you know it better than I, that's for damn sure. But he's been so good this year, and I thought it was fascinating when he talked about earlier in the week that Ben Johnson has a way of making you, the offensive lineman, feel like you are playing a pivotal role in a specific play or in a game plan. And that just does that resonate with you, that like some coaches are better at making you feel how important you are as an offensive lineman?
Yeah, really good coaching, right? Explaining to you the why, right? Not just telling you to do things, but look, we're going to double team this guy with Darnell Wright. We're going to run behind you, and then we're going to make them condense, and then we'll pull you on the edge right when they all think we're running inside. You are the key to this game. You dominating this double team, getting movement on a play they call duel, which is a play they're living off of right now, which is a gap play. Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright double teaming a lot, up the combo block up to the linebacker. So really just explaining to you how they're going to help you, how they're going to count on you to make a block. And you can tell when Coach Johnson goes up there and speaks after games, and we knew that, guys, when he came in here, right? We all said, man, you watch his film, you watch his play calling with the Lions. This guy is elite. What we didn't know is could he process information as a head coach, and he has started to do that, right? He has started, did really, really good at that also, and we're starting to show signs here, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Obviously, we know that the teams that they have played lately, their last 6 games, not very good football teams, right? I think the teams are combined 15 and 37, right? Those teams they've just played, and the defenses, I don't think you'll find 1 points per game over 22. So they're the bottom half of the league right now, but you only can play who's on your schedule. This guy does a nice job telling the players exactly how they'll beat somebody, right? Like, think about the DJ Moore reverse, right? They motion, I think it was Roma Dunes there across the DJ Moore's touchdown. And the linebacker's eyes, man, he talked about after the game. They were so screwed up, right? Speeds and Lawrence, that they didn't know where to go. The linebacker on the reverse side, he ran into the front side A gap, expecting outside zone to the right, and then they just hit him with the reverse for a touchdown. So when a coach explains things like that to you in the meeting room, look, guys, this is how we're going to attack them. When they start overplaying the outside zone, we'll run a reverse for a touchdown. And then you're on the sideline and you're looking at it and it's actually happening. That's when the buy-in starts, man. That's when you hear guys like Darnell Wright, the unicorn, right? I know Coach Ben Johnson wanted to take a victory lap because he took a lot of flack about saying that in August about Darnell Wright. But Darnell Wright doing cartwheels and slamming first rounders on their head, looking like a unicorn against the Bengals, right? So, hey, take a victory lap. You guys deserve it. But those are the kind of things, speaks to your point, when a guy explains to you exactly how they're going to attack somebody, how you're important to it, and then it happens, man, you start to buy into what this guy is preaching.
Can Kyle Monangai run all the same stuff that they run for DeAndre Swift? Or if we see them sharing carries this week, are we going to see different sets for those two different running backs?
No, they'll run all the same plays. They run a little differently, right? Kyle Monangai gets downhill a lot quicker. It's like when we had Cedric Benson and Thomas Jones. They were the same plays, but you understand that the one guy's a power runner and the other guy, like I remember with Cedric, Thomas Jones used to bounce. Well, God's play, they called it power O, where he was supposed to attack the front side A gap. He would end up in the backside by the backside tackle. And I asked him one day, I said, Thomas, how did you see that read? I think we were playing the Steelers, that famous 2005 game in the snow versus the Steelers. I said, how did you see that backside tackle hole? He said, oh, that's my first read. Well, it's not supposed to be, right? But they run it differently. Same play, but you understand that they're attacking the play differently. Like Monangai will run toss crack, right? He'll run all the same things. By toss crack, I mean toss outside the receivers with, you see Darnell, right? The one Theo Benedict ran the DB out of bounds and ran him into the ground. Really made my whole day when he did that. But those kind of plays, they all run it. They just run it a little differently.
Oh, can you walk me through something? Because I'm hearing people talk about this a little bit more frequently, and it's the concept of pin and pull on outside zone. And I felt like I saw some really good wide receiver blocking on some of those runs last week. Can you walk me through what that's supposed to look like?
Yeah, those are called crack plays, right? So toss crack, the receivers will line up in a bunch formation, or they call it, I think Sean McVay calls it closet formations, where the receivers are really close to the tackles and you bring everybody in, right? And you run inside, and all of a sudden you're going to toss it outside. And the receiver now has to do a good job because he's responsible for the DN.
Right.
The Giants are a perfect team to run that against, right? Brian Burns, not a very big guy, right? They don't have Abdul Carter if they put him out there. Thibodeau, these guys are having a hard time setting the edge. It really is the problem with the Giants' run defense. But the receiver can get that DN and pin him inside. And then the pin and the tackle's pulling and use the tackle as number one from the sideline, right? So the first defender from the sideline, he's going to run and he's going to stay on his track. And the running back's try to get on his hip and run with him and cut right off his block. So that's like even God's play is a pin and pull play, but it's a pin and pull. It's a gap play inside, in the inside A gap. But the one you're talking about, Lawrence, where the receivers do a lot of blocking, and really Sean McVay kind of started all this where most of the receivers in and out, and they're almost used like fullbacks, right? You got to have receivers who are willing, and Antoine Randall has done a nice job insisting that these receivers block. And these receivers have bought in, and that's all contributing to this Bears run game kind of taking off here in a little bit. And obviously, we'll mention again, we know how bad these teams have been at stopping the run, but they're still getting a lot of movement. They look like they understand, they know what they're doing. The mental errors are way down from the beginning of the year, and they're doing a really nice job keeping these defenses off balance by running the football.
I appreciated, seeing Olamide Zaccheaus do it. It's one thing to see Rome do it. He's a big body wide receiver. But both of those guys, I thought last week, they weren't afraid to go hit the end.
Zaccheaus, DJ Moore, they've all been asked to block when they get in there, right? Even Luther Birdie, when he gets in there, has been asked to block. So they don't care who's in there. They ask them to block and do certain things. And I think Coach Johnson and all the offense coaches really have talked a lot about, if you want the ball, you have to block, right? And when you keep insisting on that and keep preaching that, that's how you create this thing that everyone talks about called culture, right? That's how you create your culture. Like, look, man, we're a physical running team first, and then everything comes off of that. And that's why you see all these play action passes and everything that the Bears like to run, that they're basing their offense off of nowadays.
So should we be worried that Caleb Williams is going to drop back and hold the ball just a little too long? And here come these pass rushers. Kayvon Thibodeau is a former top 2 pick? I think he was number 2 overall, if not number 3 overall. You mentioned Brian Burns, not too big, but dominant in the pass rush. He's got 11 sacks, leads the NFL. And Abdul Carter's the kid that everybody thought was going to be Micah Parsons in the NFL. So how...
Dexter Lawrence? I mean, they got
Dexter
some,
Lawrence
they got
in the
some
middle.
guys, man.
Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy, man. Dexter Lawrence. I'm a center, right? He lines up over there. That guy's a mammoth. I mean, you want to watch someone fun to watch play football. A lot of teams able to run away from him this year, right? Because they can attack these smaller pass rushes on the edges. But like you're saying, Speaks, very important that we trust Coach Johnson. Now, a lot of people have been getting off this after this defense, right? Because you just see their stats, and I've turned their film on, and you expect to see this dominant unit with all these names, but they're struggling in the secondary. They got a few, I think their linebackers out this week. They're struggling at the second level of their defense, and the ball's coming out faster than the DNs can get there, right? And then in the run game, those smallest DNs are getting attacked, right? Some things people don't consider when I want pass rush. Well, got to stop the run first, right? You got to stop the run before you get to rush the passer. But these guys, a harder matchup than the Bears have seen in the last 3 or 4 games, and it'll be fun to watch our offensive line match up against this front, because we want to see where we are and where we're at, even though I think they're 31st in the league at stopping a run, and their numbers aren't very good. And sometimes I don't understand the scheme they're going after there when I put on the Giants film, but that's their problem. They do have these names. If you do get, I heard Alex talking about, he did a very nice job explaining to you guys, you don't want to get behind the chains on these guys. I don't think the Bears will, right? I think they'll stay on schedule. I think they'll find ways to gain yards. Dexter Lawrence is the kind of guy worries me a little bit in that middle of that line. He can create a lot of havoc when you have a shorter, smaller quarterback, a guy who pushes the pocket. Obviously, it's a guy you worry about. But again, the Bears should go into this game with the same thought process they had the last few games. Like, look, let's get this run game going a little bit against a defense that has been struggling to stop the run. Let's make them do things that it doesn't look like they want to do, which is set edges, right? Sit guys down. Let's attack them with our aggressive run blocking tackles and see if they like to do that all game.
So how does one do research for an air raid siren? Like what does that involve?
You go on YouTube and you put an air raid siren Illinois game, and then you screen record it with your phone and you slow it down, Speaks. Come on, man.
Technique.
Stick with me here.
Yeah. So who's the best? Like, who did you see? Oh man, that guy knows what he's doing, or that guy knows what he's doing. Was there anybody?
I didn't really I didn't study the actual guy doing it. I was just studying how they were doing the air raid siren, but they do use Illinois Hall of Famers, so I should go back and actually look at who was doing it and what their name was. But just kind of noticed that you have to click it towards you and then get it going a little bit. So I figured, well, I might as well get it going as hard as I can, right? And well, you're going to do it. Let's go do it. So fun day, Coach Chiano's bunch, Rutgers, always a tough bunch, but Illinois came out ready. Coach Bielema came out ready to play football, and they took it to Rutgers pretty good.
Oh, what do you think of Jackson Dart?
I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a good young player. I'm surprised at how fast that ball does come out. Now, he has a lot of injuries on his offense, I'm sure, as you guys know. I think his center, John Michael Schmitz, is out this week. Tyreek Stevenson, right, went one before John Michael Schmitz in the 2023 draft. You guys heard me talk about that a lot. So him not playing this week is a shot at me, I guess. I don't know, man. I mean, Pose is over there laughing at me, right? Pose is like, you wanted this guy. Tyreek is playing. Well, you win one. But, he's got Malik Neighbors out. Scatterboo's out. They got a lot of guys injured here, Lawrence. They don't have a lot of weapons on that offense, right? So, but I'm impressed with the way he hits that back foot. He does get the ball out. He's got a good arm. He can use his feet to move around this Giants team. Looks like they're struggling a little bit on both sides of the ball. Not a little bit, a lot. They missed their running backs, right? I think they have 2 running backs. I think James Conner is also out. So on to their 3rd running back. Now they got their, I think their right tackle was out last week. Now they got their center out. Just having that kind of year there in New York. But if you just look at Jackson Dart and watch him work through his progressions, Lawrence, the things you're looking through for a young quarterback, the same things we're looking at our young quarterback. You watch his footwork, you watch some of the throws he makes. Guy's got a lot of potential. He's a fun quarterback to watch. And like you guys know, the more stars we can get in this league that are worth watching, that are fun to watch, he's a guy who's fun to watch. The more exciting NFL is, the better for all of us.
Oh, we appreciate you, man. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be checking you out on the pre and the post game show.
Appreciate it, guys.